All right, so let's say you are ready to design your website. What's the first thing that you start working on? Is it your header? Is it your footer? Is it your content area? Is it page templates? What really do you start with? So as page builders are getting more and more complex, ways of designing a website may differ, but in today's video, I am going to share my workflow, which helps you design websites really fast. It also makes your websites look consistent and professional. But before we get started, I'd like to remind you that if you buy Divi using my affiliate link, I will give you access to my web design formula course, the course that teaches you how to design professional looking websites with Divi. However, what I'm going to show you in this video can be applied to other page builders as well. It's just a workflow that helps you design professional looking websites. All right, so let's dive in and let me show you what I start with when it comes to designing websites. All right, so the very first thing I do is I add my color palette. So I use this website called colors.co. So this helps me generate my colors for my websites. So let's say I'm happy with the colors that I've chosen. All I have to do now is to copy the hexadecimal value, and then I would come over here to my page builder. Now, before we used to go over here to Divi and then we go to theme options. Okay, so this is where we would add our colors. But there's also another place where you can add your global colors. So let's say you come over here, you add your colors like that. So all these colors will be added everywhere where you can apply color in the page builder. Okay, so once you've added all your colors, pretty much you don't need to go back and forth and look for any colors. So this is where I would add my colors, and I'll show you in a moment where to add the global colors as well. The next step is to go into your template. Okay, so I'm going to come all the way down here to Divi, click on theme builder. So here, this is a very, very special place. This is where you add your global items. So let me just show you what fonts we have on our site right now as I go through the different pages of this site. So you can see here, these are the default fonts that we have on our website. But if you were to come over here now and add a global body, what happens is you are going to apply a template which will have consistent fonts throughout the whole website. Let me show you quickly how that works. So if I were to come over here and build global body, I'm going to build this from scratch. And over here now, we need to add our post content. I'm going to select it. Now I can go in here and add my font. So let's say I want to add Poppins in here. So I'd come over here, search for my font. And for this heading, I'm going to make this bold. And I'm also going to change the color. So let's go with that. Or in fact, you know what? Let's add a color which you can see once I made my changes on my site. So that's H1. And we can also do similar things to H2. But next, I'm going to add my paragraph text here. So let's go with Poppins as well. And this time I'm going to increase the size from 14 to about 16 and also add some line height. Okay, excellent. So that's all I'm going to do. And pretty much this is my content area template. And this is going to apply my text pretty much across the whole website. So now if I save, come over here, refresh this, you notice now my site has Poppins pretty much throughout. You see that? So all these areas now have Poppins. So even if I go to a totally different page, my fonts have been updated across the whole website. So this is one of those things that anyone who's new to web design really overlook because they're not sure how this function works. So I've noticed that when I used to do a lot of reviews on websites, a lot of websites would have different fonts in different areas, and this makes your website look very, very unprofessional. So this template here, as you can see, can be applied pretty much across the whole website just by using one thing. The next step now is I would go in and add my header and footer. So let's go ahead and let me show you how to do that. So to add your header, you would come over here, build a global header, and this will add your global header. So at the moment, we have this header here, which is pretty much the default header that we have, which is applied across the whole website. And if we also come over here, this is our footer. So if you come over here, this is where you'd add your global header, global footer, and pretty much your website is 10 steps ahead. It's going to look very, very professional. So just to sum up this very first stage, the first thing you want to do is to add your colors, add your global body, add your global header, add your global footer. So the next step now is to choose your font. So before you apply your fonts on your website, you're going to need to find fonts that work well together. So there are a few websites out there that you can go and take a look at fonts that work well together. These are the fonts that you can apply on your website before you even start building it. Okay, so once you're done with that, the next step now is, let me show you where you can see our global colors. So to do that, I'm just going to come over here and add a new page. So let's call this colors. All right, so for this, I'm going to build from scratch. I'm going to add a few elements here so you can see how easy it is to use this feature. So let's start here with some text. All right, so this is the text I'm going to use, and you can see here, because we have a global body, this has been applied now to our site, which is great. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a few changes and then use our global color features. So you can see how you can use this going forward in your design. So first of all, I'm going to come over here to my background, and instead of using my normal color palette, which I suggested earlier, I want to come over here to global. Okay, so here you can see we have some global colors. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my first color here for the background, and then I'm going to add some color to my text. So I'm going to come over here. Again, I'm going to go to my global, and then I'm going to choose this as my color. There we go. And the next step now is to just add a bit of spacing around my design here. So I'm going to add 20 all around, just to give this some breathing space. Now, I know this may seem like I'm spending so much time with this design. This is just so that we have something looking quite decent, which I am going to change and show you how easy it is to make changes to this. So here I have this text here with this background. Next, I am going to add a text module, and I'm just going to add a heading. So let's go ahead and select that. And so let's call this my heading. I'm going to come over here to design, text, make it all caps, change this to ultra bold, and we're going to go with pop-ins here. Now let's increase our size. We're going to make it nice and big. There we go. So we'll go with 30. So what we're going to do now is we are going to apply our global color here. Okay, so now that we've added our global color here, let's say at some point you decide, you know what, I want to really rebrand my website, change all my colors around, because the colors that I have now don't really look cool. So I want to change the colors completely. So what you can do now is you can go now into your global colors. So I'm going to go into this first one here. It doesn't matter which one you choose. So let's go ahead and go now to our background. So you can see here that it's a global because it has this eyedropper tool. So I want you to notice what happens when I go in here and try to change this. Do you see now that the heading here is also changing? And that is because it is sharing the same global color. So if you have a few of these colors across your whole website, you can update pretty much your whole website by going in and changing a few things or a few places, and this updates your whole website. Okay, so now that I've saved this, you can see my header here and my background is all consistent, and this has been updated at the same time. So as you can see, this really makes your web design process very, very easy. And finally, what I highly recommend is to have your global presets. So presets just allow you to have certain designs pretty much across your whole website. You can just click on the drop down and choose your presets. In fact, instead of talking about this, let me show you how we can add our preset. So I'm going to go back in here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here. You can see it says default preset. So if I come over here, you can see we have our default presets. You can actually go in here and make changes to the preset by coming over here. And once you're happy with this, you can save your preset. So next time you want to use this text block here, you can just choose it from your presets and you are ready to go. Now, to see that you're working with your presets, you're going to see this gray area here. This shows that you are working with a preset. So this is how I would design my websites. This is the workflow. So just to go over this quickly, you first start off with your normal colors. You add them onto your color palette. Next, you add your content area for your website. This ensures that you have your fonts all consistent throughout your whole website. Third, you want to work on your headers and footers, and these are global, by the way. So these pretty much apply across your whole website. And when you make changes to them, the changes apply across the whole website. Now, the fourth thing is to use global colors. So your global colors will change pretty much dynamically across where that color has been updated. It's great for rebranding and changing your colors on your websites. Finally, we have global presets. Now, global presets allow us to have different styles which we can reuse over and over again, saving you a lot of time to go in and make your designs from scratch. All right, guys, that's all I have for you in today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell notification. By doing so, you'll be notified every time I release new tutorials. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.